Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I just want to start off by saying I'm sorry if you can hear a slight fan in the background. It is really hot again in England for some reason. Disgusting. I hate it. And if I sit in this room with no fan on, I will die. So I do apologize. I will try and fix it in audio as much as I can. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, so today we are doing another TikTok hack reaction. Some Instagram things, but you know, same platform now, really, aren't they? It all gets uploaded in the same place. But you have all tagged me and shown me, commented on. Can I just say also as well, a few videos back, I asked people not to tag me in videos with horrible comments such as Robert, look at this shit hack, or what the fuck is this? And comment along the lines of, Robert, what do you think of this technique? And I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's done that, because I noticed an instant change of people being more like, what do you think of this? I would love to know what you think of this technique. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And I really appreciate that you took the time to listen to what I had to say before and put it into practice. So thank you. I noticed it very much. Thank you so much. Okay, so should we just, if you don't know who I am, my name is Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on Instagram. No, I'm not. YouTube and also real life. And it's my goal to help you become a pro yourself, or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please do consider subscribing. And if you are on TikTok, you can go ahead and at me in TikToks that you find slightly questionable. Again, just at me. You don't need to say anything. It's at RobertWLSH MUA. Okay, shall we?
You have to try this eyeshadow hack. Try doing lines of eyeshadow just like this, starting with the deeper shade on the outer corner and adding the lighter shades toward the inner corner. Then take a fluffy eyeshadow brush and then blend some more. And then just top with your fave mascara.
So I got tagged in this so many times, and let me just tell you a story. When I saw this, I wasn't very surprised. I wasn't like, whoa, that's some crazy hack. I years and years ago, when I first got into makeup, I noticed a very clear difference. And I noticed a very clear difference between the way the makeup artist had been trained to do makeup and the way that beauty therapists had been trained to do makeup. What am I saying? You know what I'm trying to say. And I worked with these two individuals where I used to work, and I remember looking at their eyeshadow and thinking, you can see where they've just done block, and then just patted over. And I remember saying to them one day, you studied beauty therapy, didn't you? That's where you learned to do makeup. And they're like, yeah, how did you know? And I said, because you can see where you've blocked eyeshadow. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just two different ways. I put this up on Instagram and I was like, can people just confirm if you've learned beauty therapy, this is how you learn to do makeup? A lot of people like no, and a lot of people like yes. Oh my god, this is exactly how we learn. It's not a new technique, and a lot of people messaging me like, does this work? I don't see why it wouldn't work, because you're just putting colours on your lids and blending it in. Let's try it. Let's do it. It should be pretty simple, to be honest. So I'm actually going to take this palette. This was gifted to me and I haven't used it yet, so apologies for using it my first time in an experiment, but the line down the middle here I think will be the perfect way to try this. I think it's so weird because it's caused such a you know, what? Does this work? And it's like, well, yeah, of course it works. You're putting eyeshadow colours on your eyelid and blending them in like we do anyway. In terms of going dark to light, I'm actually going to go the other way because I don't want to change my brush. And I think some people as well think that it might be easier to blend, but you do still have to blend the colours together. Blending as well, you can tap colours to blend. You don't always have to go, you know, blend backwards and forwards. So you still have to blend the crease out at some point as well, you know what I mean? It is very easy to do smoky eye, but you do have to end up blending out anyway in the first place. But yeah, it works, right? Do I do the other eye? I kind of can't be bothered. I'm not going to do it. Okay. This is another one that is like, oh my god, so crazy. So here's the deal, right? I remember seeing this maybe 2 or 3 years ago on 5 Minute Crafts, and you know what 5 Minute Crafts is. It's a pile of shit, and they know it. So here's where this hack works and doesn't work. It works because wetting or adding some kind of mixing medium to a shimmer eyeshadow or creamy eyeshadow, or like, you know, an eyeshadow with shine is of course going to give it this really smooth, buttery, creamy, metallic effect. You know, we wet our brushes to do the same thing. We have mixing mediums to do it. So yeah, of course it's going to go on a little bit more intense in colour. Here's where it doesn't work, however. For longevity, it's great for like an initial application. Same with like eye gloss. Some products aren't practical to use on the eyes, but look great when they go on. But here's why it won't work in the long run is because eyelids are oily. That's why we have sticky, tacky eyeshadow bases to keep the oil from the eyelids away. Oil breaks down makeup. Moisture on the lid breaks down makeup. We use oils to break down our even waterproof makeup. So using something on the lid that is off that kind of greasy, not greasy, I don't want to say greasy because lip balm isn't greasy, balmy texture is actually just gonna crease almost immediately. The color's going to be patchy, it's going to come off, but also this is going to start to interfere with your other makeup. Mascara will make your mascara run. Liner, it's going to make your liner run, because you have nothing, you know, keeping it on. Should we just try it? Fuck it. While we look like this, let's do it. Right, this is the only lip balm in a stick that I have. I'm so sorry, Pat. You shouldn't be disrespected like this. I'm going to put it into this shade. This is from Rude Cosmetics. And we're going to go into the shade Glitzy. Better not fuck up this eyeshadow. I'm going to apply it on the lid. Okay, so that does go on pretty well. It is pretty patchy because obviously there's nothing to help blend it in. Let's just help it out a little bit. But you know what does this anyway? Just a normal eyeshadow primer would have done this. Or mixing mediums that are made to kind of dry down but leave this amazing texture and actually last a long time. It feels very uncomfortable as well. Look, it looks very, I feel like I don't know, someone's grandmother. And I'm like, oh, I'm here to give you money. I don't know. Okay, the eye makeup is absolutely stunning. But let's talk about this. But let's talk about the color correction because you already know how I feel about the foundation, etc. So let's talk about the color correction. I mean, this is obviously made for entertainment purposes only. Let's start with the color correction. The purple. Purple on her skin tone, it particularly, is used to kind of, we can say almost, this eyelid, almost like neutralize and almost brighten on her skin tone, that area. So on the forehead, it actually kind of makes sense on the middle there. Down the side of the nose, not really, because then if you then go on to contour your nose down the side, there's no point in brightening and neutralizing that area in the first place. Now, squeezing your lip. I think we've done this before. Squeezing your lips like that with anything. One of those suction cups, a little, whatever she was using, eyelash curler, is so bad for your lips. And it doesn't actually give a great effect anyway in the long run. It's a very temporary, quick blood rushing to the lip and then going back. You're better off using a plumping gloss for that little effect, or just, it just looks so sore. Like, don't do it. Just don't do it. I wouldn't do that. I do have to say though, this is one of the only videos I've seen like this, where there's loads of colour correction going on, where she's actually brought the colour corrector under her eyes further up to where it should be. Usually people put it here and then don't take it up any higher and it looks really weird, but that would technically work, just less of it. You don't have to bring it all the way down the cheek. And the green again is unnecessary. I don't know why that's there. I guess it's all for entertainment purposes only, isn't it? That's what I like to think.
Hi, Gay. Happy Pride Month. We are setting away with deals.
If you want to start looking after your skin but you haven't got loads of time, I want you to start using a cleansing balm. I'm going to use this one from RMK. I'm going to take about this much and apply it directly onto my skin with makeup on. Try and get like a cheap pack of flannels and use a different cloth every day. In an ideal world, find a cleanser that you can also use around the eyes. Okay, wet flannel. How quick was that? Try and tell me that's not quicker than a wipe. Just to mention, I've got rosacea, that's why I'm red. It's nothing to do with the balm, but how quick and easy was that? If you're doing a double cleanse, use the same cloth and then do a new one tomorrow.
Honestly, I wish people who use wipes would see how quick and easy, like she said, a cleansing balm is. It's the same deal. Smother it all over your face. Just give it a rub. It's not too like taxing in terms of time, and then wipe it off with a cloth like she did. It is so quick, and it's so much better than those wipes. And I'm talking about wipes that specifically sit in this pack covered in that makeup remover that are made out of that horrible wipe stuff that isn't biodegradable, even if some people say it is. I don't know how that works. A cleansing balm is literally the most incredible, it's what I use all the time, the most incredible makeup removers you can use. Balms, oils, amazing. It's great to see people putting out like really good information, you know, instead of like, look at this crazy hack and then, oh, look at these great wipes.
You know those girls that always look clean, their skin is always glowing, their lips are always glossed, and they never ever look like they're wearing too much makeup? We may not be them, but here's how to get their look. Apply concealer to these exact spots and blend upwards using a damp beauty blender. Here I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. By doing this, you'll lift your face up naturally without having to add heavy contour. Next up, brows. Whether you've got a lot of brow or a little, all you have to remember is that brows are very powerful tools when it comes to lifting up the face. But instead of brushing your brows upward and straight, which can make you look a bit crazy, brush them upward and diagonal, which gives you a more natural but lifted look. Here I'm using the Kosas Clear Brow Gel, and don't forget to lift the tail, it makes all the difference. Next, gently press some translucent powder, this one is by Innisfree, into the places where your concealer usually creases. So for example, your upper eyelids, under eyes, and around the mouth and nose. Lightly coat your lashes with Aquaphor before curling them, and I'm using this RMS Clean Mascara for a lifted and plush look. For your cheeks, you can use a cream blush, or I'm using this Lip Shine by RMS Beauty in the shade Bloom, and pressing and melting it into my skin with a damp beauty blender. To give yourself an angelic glow, dab a cream highlighter like this Living Luminizer one by RMS Beauty onto the tops of your cheeks and nose. Create a heart-shaped pout by drawing 2 little rainbows over the top of your Cupid's bow using a rose tone lip liner and gently rounding out the bottom. Using your finger, smudge the liner inward and upward, kind of like you've just been kissed. Finish off with a light coat of lip gloss, and even if your life's a mess, you'll look like America's next sweetheart.
Okay, so if we look at the areas that she applied the concealer, here's why a lot of it makes sense. A lot of it is the deeper areas of your face. So, for example, round these nasal folds. Someone told me the name and now I'm like, I forgot it. There, the inside of the eyes. And sometimes the corners of the mouth can go in. I know the corners of my mouth are quite red when there's no makeup on it. So this is a really good... Why did I not blend it? So this is a really good map of where to put your concealer on the chin, because it highlights. Do be careful on the chin if you tend to have oilier skin, because you know it's going to highlight itself and you don't want to look like you're dribbling. Middle of the forehead is nice. Again, be careful if you're oily because it can look like sweat. Here's the deal. I know this has been a trend where people have been putting concealer here because it lifts. Bear in mind, lifting has to have something in comparison for it to look lifted. It has to have a deeper shade for it to look, unless you do extremely light. But in this case, I'm assuming she hasn't used foundation because we didn't see any. You can't go too light, otherwise it's going to look like weird, just random light patches on your face. You have to blend extremely well for it to make sense. So do bear in mind that in order to lift something that isn't lifted, it has to be in comparison with something that's deeper. So you may need a small amount of bronzer, it's the heat. Small amount of bronzer or something in comparison to make it a little bit deeper. Yeah, I think it's a great tip, and I think it looks incredible. Yeah, amazing.
I'm about to put you onto one of the best setting sprays you can buy. Introducing the Kryolan Fixing Spray. This is the big bottle, but you can get many different sizes. Let me show you what this puppy does. Let's do a swatch of eyeshadow. We'll also do a really bomb shimmer. We'll go with some black pencil liner, a little concealer, dewy foundation, and even a cream foundation. Now let's do a thin layer. Now, ready? Let's go over the concealer and foundation. Nothing. Now for these, I don't have the highest hopes, they're creams, but let's see. You guys need this.
Okay, so I'm not a big believer in setting sprays to set anything. I like to use them as primers, but let me tell you about this. I think it's the same one. I had one that was in a white bottle. I don't know whether it's different in different countries or whatever. So when I used to work in Disney World, of course we weren't allowed tattoos. We couldn't have tattoos on display. And because my costume came up to about here, I had to cover my tattoo on my wrist. And so I lied and said I didn't have tattoos. And I was like, I'm a makeup artist. I can cover my tattoo every single day. So I actually got the Kryolan concealer palettes. And I got one for my skin tone now and one for deeper skin tones, because when I tan, I tan, like I go very, very deep. And I got this setting spray, a Kryolan setting spray. It does not move. It does not budge. It is crazy. So I chose that one in particular, and I tried many before I went out there. And this one in particular is almost like it creates an actual solid layer. So it kept like, how many layers? So it'll be color corrector, powder, a color to neutralize the orange color corrector, powder, my skin tone, powder. Then I would get a stippling brush and stipple on skin tone so it looked like skin, not just a flat color, powder, and then setting spray. So it kept all those layers on through me carrying things, sweating, my wrist rubbing on things, washing my arms, my hands and my arm, and we had to wash up to here constantly. So it really, really, really worked. I have never thought about using this on my face or using it on anyone else's face because it was just that powerful, and I always thought it might be really uncomfortable on the face. I kind of have this block of products in my mind that are theatrical or for extreme cases, and that definitely sits in that category. But 100% that setting spray is everything proof. It is incredible. How comfortable it'll be on the face, I don't know. I've never tried it, and I did use a lot of layers, so it'll be interesting to see. But if you haven't already, go and check him out on TikTok. I think it's on YouTube now as well. Professional makeup artist, you can most definitely tell some of the most incredible tips and tricks, and it's someone who I think everyone can learn from. I think you're not good at your profession if you don't keep learning. So yeah, amazing tips. So many people tagging this, because when I usually do my reaction videos, and I keep forgetting to say it, but I usually say individuality and creativity have no rules, but makeup most definitely has a theory. And that means you can do whatever the fuck you want with makeup, but there are theories in makeup that make it easier to use and make it so you can get the best out of it and the best out of what you do. So I love this reaction. This was her reaction to somebody has obviously commented that. This is what I mean. It's just placement can make all the difference. And although they are doing the extreme, you can see, for example, the deeper shade here and here gives a really strange effect. When you think about makeup, right, like I say, creativity and individuality have no rules. So use whatever the fuck colours you want. Use whatever shapes you want. Draw over your face. Do all over this. But the theory comes in when it's the amount of product, how you're applying, why that won't work with this, why that technically doesn't and scientifically doesn't work well together. So that's why in video reaction videos, it's not about, what's the word? Commenting on someone's creativity or personal taste. It's not about that. It's about the technique that's used, and how, for me, it's more how people try so desperately to go viral, but then on the other hand, people take it as advice, and I think we're in that kind of like fragile in between for like, does this work? Does it work? No, it doesn't, but it looks great online, you know? So that's where it comes in, where there is a theory to things. And you know what? That also comes in makeup theory with lighting. Like, everything looks great because lighting is part of that. So, you know. Okay. Oh, should we have a look at this eye? That big old crease. Sweaty. So I don't know if you can see, it's almost completely gone from the lid. Not a fun time. Not good at all. But you know what? This could be, if you don't mind a smudgy look, this could be a look, you know, with maybe like a black eyeshadow. That would look really nice. Or, you know, I get like that kind of like oil slick, you know, a bit of like a black eyeshadow with some purple, or like some duochrome pigment mixed in to get that like oil. That'd be really nice. Try it. Let me know, because I can't be able to do it. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you think of any of these hacks, tips below. Go ahead and follow me on TikTok and at me in things. Just at me, just my name. RobertWLSH, MUA. MUA isn't my last name. Yeah. I don't know why. Okay. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you haven't already. Just scroll up, just give it a big thumbs up. That'll be really great. Thank you. Do double check if you're following me as well. I know a lot of people think they are, but you might not actually be. I've been watching loads of channels and I always have to hunt them down. I'm like, why aren't they coming up my subscriptions? It's because I watch them all the time. They're in my recommended, but I actually haven't subscribed yet. So I'm making sure I'm subscribing to them. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.